Trump has banned refugee petitions. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I'm going to explain to you what his ban actually is. And I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can overcome the ban. Coming right up. If you don't know me, I'm Josh Goldstein. I'm an immigration lawyer who truly cares about helping you reach your immigration goals. I've been practicing immigration law for more than 20 years. I help clients in all 50 states and around the world. So shortly after Trump came into office, I got a call from our client, Amina. She lives in Ohio. She's originally from Somalia. She came to the US as a refugee, and she petitioned for her husband and her children. They've been waiting in Kenya for many, many years. So long, in fact, that we filed a lawsuit to challenge the delay. We got the I-730 visa petitions approved. They went to their interview. They were issued documents to travel, but they couldn't get on the plane. And that is because shortly before that, on January 20th, Donald Trump, on the day of his inauguration, he signed an executive order banning the processing of refugee petitions. So what is a refugee petition? Well, if you come to the United States as a refugee, you have a legal right under the Immigration and Nationality Act to file a petition for your spouse and your children. This is legal immigration. And many refugees come to our practice from countries like Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Sudan, Somalia, and many other countries like this, Ethiopia. And they file these refugee petitions, and that's a key way of reuniting with their family. Trump's executive order just gets rid of all that, suspends it with the stroke of a pen. And if you're in this situation, you must be incredibly frustrated to be separated from your loved ones, to have a legal right that was given to you in the law taken away by the president through the stroke of a pen. Now, I want to tell you 3 things that you can do to overcome this. First, you can and should file an I-130 visa petition. So, after you come in as a refugee, many of our clients eventually go on to become permanent residents. And after they become permanent residents, you are then eligible to become a U.S. citizen through naturalization. Permanent residents and naturalized U.S. citizens have the legal right to petition for their spouses and their children. Now, why would you file an I-130 if you already have an I-730? Wouldn't that be a duplication of effort? Yes, it would. You should not need a separate case in order to get this done. However, there is no reason you couldn't file both. In fact, you could even file a 3rd case. Like, for example, your family members, if they're eligible, could apply for the diversity visa lottery that comes out in the fall. There are many other ways that you could do it, but I recommend that everyone who's eligible file an I-130 visa petition for their children and their husband or their wife. So get that filed. And if you've already filed the I-130 visa petition, then you're in good shape because it gives you a separate basis for your family to emigrate if the I-730 doesn't pan out. The second way that you can overcome this refugee ban executive order is through a waiver. Now, in the executive order, in Section 3C, you'll see that it says that on a case-by-case basis, the authorities can determine that a particular applicant deserves admission to the United States because it's in the national interest or it's not a security risk. So this executive order provides an independent basis for you to get around that. Now, my question is, how do you apply for the waiver? They don't say. What are the standards specifically for the waiver? They don't say. So I took action. I filed a request under the Freedom of Information Act for all the information and records related to the application process for the waiver. I filed that immediately. And if they don't produce those records, I'm going to sue them in court to challenge that record request, and I'm going to get the information about how to apply for the waivers so that all of you can do that. And when I do get that, information. I'm going to share it here on all the channels, so you want to tune in to learn more about how you can apply for the waivers. Now, I actually think that there may not actually be any waiver process, and I think that that might just be something their lawyers told them to stick in there because it might make it sound more reasonable. But if I'm wrong, I'll tease out the details on how to apply for the waiver. And if I'm right and it doesn't really exist, I'm going to get them in court, I'm going to depose them, and I'm going to get them to admit that they provided false information or the information in there is not accurate. Now, the number 3 way that you can get around the refugee travel ban and get reunited with your families is by suing the Trump administration. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We're launching a massive national lawsuit against the Trump administration. We're going to fight this travel ban, we're going to fight this refugee ban, and we're going to win. What's the legal basis of our lawsuit? Why are we suing? Donald Trump signed an executive order to get rid of refugee petitions. He doesn't like them. He says in the executive order that they are not in the national interest. The only problem with that is that this is the law. And if you as president don't like the law, then you have a clear remedy. You can change the law. You can pass a new law with the help of Congress. The Republicans, the party of Donald Trump, control the House, control the Senate. They're going to pass laws, and they could pass laws, and they could change the law and remove the ability of refugees to petition for their family members. But they haven't done that. And so the thing that you can't do under our system of constitutional democracy, you cannot, as president, just get rid of laws you don't like by signing a document. It doesn't work that way. You don't have the authority to do that. And this is not a theoretical debate over constitutional principles. This is something real and tangible. If you are trying to get reunited with your spouse, your husband, your wife, your children, and Donald Trump just signed away that right, then this is very, very upsetting. And we're going to fight back, and you can learn about it in our next video.